Tradition dies a slow death, sometimes a bloody death.
Little flower thoughts in your Ragi. I just want to first off say thank you so much for being here tonight. It means a lot to me as a parishioner of the Archdiocese of Washington, and I can speak from the seminarians in the Archdiocese of Washington, all the students in the Archdiocese of Washington here at Catholic, how active you are if you're on campus. You're consistently attending events. That really, really, really means a lot to us. I'm going to ask a little bit of a tougher question, simply a hot topic right now. It has to do with the diversity within the liturgy, the different forms of liturgy. You can see what's coming. I also serve as a freshman class senator, so I'm like the freshman class representative. By far and away, the most common question that I get asked is, Jack, why do we not have traditional Latin Mass on campus? And as someone who personally prefers Novus Ordo, I've fallen in love with the church through Novus Ordo. I also can recognize and understand that those from other dioceses throughout the United States, they found their faith in the traditional Latin Mass. So my question to you is, how can I respond to them in a loving and opening way as to why they are not able or not able to practice the TLN here on campus?
You know, when Pope Paul VI instituted the new ritual tradition, he made an exception for older priests, and don't forget, he was one of the first in Rome to celebrate the new Mass, the Pope himself. Yet he made an exception. He said, and I don't remember exactly the age, to some of the older priests who, it would have been just too much for them. They had celebrated the Mass, the Tridentine Mass, for 60 years. He made an exception for them, but it was his desire, his intent, I think, to say, when that generation goes, then everyone will be in the new Mass. Tradition dies a slow death, sometimes a bloody death. There's a book, a liturgical history book by the author Clauser, and he said that 200 years after Trent, there were still places that were celebrating the pre-Trenton Mass. So it took that long. I think what Pope Francis is trying to do with Custodes Traditionis is to say, look, there can be the celebration in limited places. So here in the Archdiocese, we have it in 3 places. And that was one of the regulations. It can't be in a parish Mass, in a parish church. It has to be in a chapel. So we have it both. We have it in the south, in one of our parishes, in one of the parishes that has a chapel. We have it at the monastery of the Holy Land, and it's in a parish with a chapel in Montgomery. He said any priest that wishes to celebrate that has to write to the bishop and say, I accept the liturgical reforms. I'm not fighting the liturgical reforms, but I'd like to be able to make myself available to celebrate under these conditions. That's for priests who are already priests. Anyone who is not yet ordained, but would like to learn to celebrate, has to write to Rome. So the Holy Father is trying to complete what Paul VI began. That is, to put one ritual, the new rite, as the dominant rite, but with exceptions, modest exceptions. Now, I have a doctorate in liturgy. When I came to the Diocese of Belleville my first diocese, so across the river from St. Louis, I inherited this tradition because of Ecclesia Dei, which John Paul II had instituted as a way of responding to Archbishop Lefebvre's schism. He said you can celebrate it under certain circumstances. So Belleville had one Sunday a month in a parish in downtown Belleville, the Tridentine Mass could be celebrated. When I came, there was a parish in Cahokia, Illinois, right on the Mississippi, Holy Family. It has a big modern church, but it kept its ancient church. I established it there every Sunday. And when I went to Atlanta, there was a parish, St. Francis de Sales in Mapleton, a suburb. It was given over to a group of priests. Every sacrament was celebrated there. I never bothered it. When I came here, it was celebrated. Cardinal Hickey instituted it here in 88 in 3 places. And then all of a sudden it was growing, and it was in 8 places. So I went back to the Hickey number, 1 in the north, 1 in the city, 1 in the south. Why? Because that's the church's liturgy. We don't, if you want to belong to a different ritual family, you can be Ruthenian, you can be Maronite, you can be Melkite, but the Roman Rite has one dominant rite, and Francis is trying to make that the official response to the Second Vatican Council's Sacrosanctum Concilium. It's not forbidden, but it's limited.